Hey everyone, it's Dominique from Blogging My Undies, and it's about 1:30 in the morning here, and I'm still on some sort of adrenaline high from how awesome our trip was. Just a quick recap, we had some friends visiting Helsinki, which is about a 3.5 hour drive away, but by long distance or coach bus, it was closer to 4 hours with all the stops that we had to make. So I expected and planned for the absolute worst, more or less like an Armageddon of a trip. And it turned out to be the exact opposite. I was absolutely shocked. So, to prep him, for one, we didn't tell him he was going anywhere. We didn't tell him, we didn't show him any pictures because we didn't have any. And what I did last night, or in my last video, I downloaded some new movies for him. Big Hero 6 by Disney, and Shark's Tale, and a Bees movie by DreamWorks. So the DreamWorks movies he's semi-familiar with. He used to watch them a lot when he was younger. Not so much now, because he's obsessed with Ratatouille. So that's fine. So the reason why I downloaded some movies in advance is because I wanted him to have variety and not get bored of Ratatouille, because it would be my luck that he would be bored of Ratatouille after, a month of watching it, or almost a month of watching it. So I wanted to be sure that the movies were ready and available and downloaded on his iPad, because there was no Wi-Fi and there's no plug on the bus that we were on. So we ended up getting a lift down to the travel center, and the reason for that is because A, it's easier, B, my friend was available, thankfully, and C, because the city buses weren't scheduled in line with when we had to go. They only ran once an hour, very, very early in the morning. So we were able to get a lift to the travel center, which made it a little bit easier, because then the V-Man would know that, we're not going to go have lunch, we're not going shopping downtown, we're just simply going to somewhere else in a car. So that made it a lot easier. There was no fighting, as opposed to if we took a city bus, if there was one available for the time we needed. He would have had a meltdown, because we would be getting off the bus and going in a different direction than normal, and he would normally have a fit. So we avoided that by getting a lift from a friend. So that was awesome. We didn't have to wait long, so that was also awesome. He really had a, happy time for about 5 minutes waiting outside. And then when we got on the bus, I ensured that I bought the tickets in advance, so all I had to do was just show my ID card, and they would have our names on a list. And I also reserved the front two seats opposite of the driver, simply because then he could see straight ahead where we were going, so change of scenery was good, and it had started snowing once we were heading towards Helsinki, so that was awesome. It's something different for him. And he didn't ask for his iPad until about 2 hours in. So for a 3 hour and maybe 45-minute ride, he didn't ask for the iPad at all. He didn't need it. I was actually able to nap a bit, and I made sure he got the window seat as well, so that way he wouldn't try to escape whenever the door opened, and people got on and got off. So that was another worry, but he didn't budge. And he was totally fine with the seatbelt. That was also wonderful, as long as it wasn't across his chest. I had to put it under his armpit instead, but he allowed me to put a seatbelt, which was great. And yeah, his iPad, he used it maybe 10 minutes on the way there. I was shocked. I sent a text to the hubster, and he was shocked. And I guess it's because he was just occupied with the scenery and listening to people talk on the bus, and he had some snacks. I made sure to pack his absolute favorite snacks, and also some really exotic to him snacks, like a bag of croutons. Thrilled. And the only problems that we had during our trip to Helsinki, we were there in Helsinki for about 6.5 hours. The only issue that we really had was we dressed him too warm, and he was pretty sweaty, but he he had a really good time. He just didn't want to shop. He just wanted to walk, and then he discovered escalators, and I had to go up and down with him about 24 times, one after another, up and then down. And he did the same with my friends that we were meeting with, so I could get a little bit of shopping in. But really not that bad, and he was really nice and tired afterward. About an hour in on the way back, on the bus ride back, he passed out. He was so tired. He did amazing. Like I really was in a panic last night. I was stressing about it. I was regretting getting tickets. As much as we love our friends, it was just a nightmare trying to plan and not knowing what the V-Man would be like, because bear in mind he hasn't traveled long distance, so anything longer than a 40-minute bus ride in over almost 2 years. Yeah, over 2 years. So, and the last time that we did travel with him long distance and out of country, we were in Wales for a conference, and I was pregnant with the M girl, and it was horrible. It was so bad. He screamed a lot. He cried a lot. He peed himself. He overflowed his diaper from screaming so much. Thankfully, we just got out of a shuttle bus and we were about to go into the airport, and he just peed everywhere, and it was summer months, so, it's not like we could hide it in a snowsuit kind of thing, or rain pants even. So it was a really horrible experience back then, but I'm thinking now that the V-Man likes traveling a little bit more, this really opens up a lot of doors for us, and it's partly why we don't travel with him, is because we don't know what to expect from him. If one of the other kids gets upset, he gets very upset. He screams and slaps himself. He throws his iPad or whatever's near him. So it's hit or miss with him. But this was a really pleasant experience, all things considered. I mean, not one meltdown. He did try to grab my boobs, but, it was easily distracted by a handful of digestive crackers and his iPad, and he was fine. So, and if he wasn't watching movies, he was just flicking through the photo stream, because it just connects Wi-Fi to my phone and steals pictures from it, more or less, or family share, whatever. So he was able to look at pictures, and he slept about halfway on the way home, and we got off the bus and we immediately ran to connect with the city bus to take us home. And the first thing he did when he got out, he didn't cry, he didn't moan and groan, he smiled. He was so happy to be back home. And that was the other thing we were really nervous about, taking him, on a trip there and back, 3.5 hours, 3 hours, 45 minutes one way. So like 7 hours on a bus minimum in one day. It's very exhausting for an adult, never mind a child. And he did flawless, I think, because we just made sure he walked as much as humanly possible during the daytime, that he was beat, and he was so ready to just chill and stretch his legs out and lean back on the bus seat. So really positive experience, and it now opens a lot of doors for us. So anyway, time for me to hit the sack. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.